It's still almost 90 degrees in here. That's insane. 89, 88. I don't know, 88, 89. A little hot. Still, today is Thursday, June 26, 2025. I thought that the heat wave was supposed to be over today, but apparently it's not. At least it's not over up here in this unit, which is on the 4th floor and right below the roof. There have been mice running around in this unit since last night when I got back from being away for several days and out of state, and was sitting on this bed and literally had a tiny mouse that was maybe like this size run across my leg or my foot as I was sitting on the edge of this bed. I don't keep any food in this unit. I don't have open cereal boxes. I don't even have cans of anything. There's no reason. These are all China bowls and Tupperware containers, and they don't have food in them. And olive oil bottles that, I don't think mice like olive oil. But there are rodents running around in here, and you see the little shreddings all over the floor. Let me turn on the light. But I swept this unit the day before I left 4 or 5 days ago, and there's shreddings all over the place once again. Yeah, I keep having to sweep and shake things out because the mice run across the bed. They leave dust and dirt and mites everywhere. There's been mice in here when you also have some weird mites. So yeah, this is what I was talking about. I'm not aiming the camera at the correct spot, but you get the idea. These little paper shreddings that suddenly show up everywhere. Here's another one overnight, and you're just like, wait, where did all this come from? I just swept. Right? See these shreddings right here? This is rodents. This is a sign of rodents, and they shred paper all over the place. Then you have to shake everything out. This isn't my problem. I'm not the one making the mess. This is the rodents, and I've let the Greenville group know about this months ago. They ignore it. They don't take time to send in a exterminator every 6 or 7 months. The last time there was an exterminator in here was back in November. So, they're probably overdue for another extermination. At the same time, the window to this unit that I've had for 13 years now suddenly came out of its hinges sometime during the trip that I was taking out of state. So I wasn't in this unit to unhinge the window myself. Somebody else seems to have done that for me. And now the window is completely derailed and off the frame and presenting a significant health and safety issue for anybody around that window, including people walking by on the sidewalk below. I made a video last Friday night at like 1 a.m. about how I had just come back to the building after being away for 6 days, and the window that had been very firmly on its track and tightly shut and perfectly within its frame when I left on Sunday, June 15th, had suddenly completely come out of its frame at some point during the 6 days that I was not in here, and had literally fallen out of its frame and landed on my bed for absolutely no reason when I literally tried to touch it to open it. I went like this, and the window came off in my hand. So I had to call the police because it's extremely unlikely that the window derailed itself and pushed itself out of its own frame all by itself during the 6 days that I was away. I'm really not sure what's going on here because the window was fixed by the Greenville maintenance team sometime in July of 2024, which was less than a year ago. I mean, we're not in July yet, so we're still in June. So this was 11 months ago, and this window should be perfectly fine. So what the police officer did is he took some video footage on his body cam of the situation and the fact that the window was lying on my bed and was presenting a significant danger, not just to people in this unit, but to people out on the street. He braced it with my blind person cane here. I'm supposed to be walking around with a cane, but I don't do that. It's too much to carry. And he basically tried to tape it up there so that it wouldn't fall out. I'm waiting for maintenance to show up today. They're supposed to show up. Haven't heard from them. Today, again, is Thursday, June 26, 2025. It's right around 12:30 p.m. And if maintenance doesn't show up today, after several notices that I sent to not just the maintenance manager over text message this morning, but to the Greenville staff late last night and early this morning regarding the fact that I'm here unexpectedly for the day and can let maintenance in, then we're going to have a problem. And I'm going to have to call inspectional services about this window that is significantly dangerous at this point. If I remove that cane, that window is going to fall back in onto my bed, or it could also fall out of its frame and out onto the street and kill somebody. And then that would not be my fault. That would be the fault of the Greenville group. They never respond to notices, or rarely respond to notices of things that don't work in this unit, including, as I just demonstrated, rodent infestations, shreddings all over the place, signs of other bugs like cockroaches, although I haven't seen any cockroaches recently, so that's good. And broken windows that mysteriously and suddenly and very miraculously yank themselves out of their tracks and off of the frame, off the track and out of the frame, and land on my bed without barely anything being done to the window. So again, this is what I did last Friday. Tried to lift up the window. It came off in my hand, landed on my bed. Pretty much that was exactly the scenario. And I had been away for 6 days. And the last time I touched that window, it was very solidly, firmly, and tightly in its frame and on the track and closed, completely closed. I'm really not sure how this crazy stuff happens, but crazy stuff like this has been going on in this unit for 13 years. No, not 13 years, actually. Let me take that back, because for the first 2.5, 3 years that I lived in this unit, there were no issues. It didn't start really happening until the Greenville Group changed their business model sometime in mid-2013 to start hosting and housing large numbers of sex offenders and career criminals who then do exactly what they have always done, which is engage in criminal activity and disruptive behavior and perving and creeping and stalking and harassment and assault. And they also seem to be talented at other things like picking locks, tampering with the plumbing, breaking and entering, contaminating food, ripping holes in people's new clothing, smearing clean sheets and towels with brown and nasty smelling stuff that was not there before, because these are clean sheets and towels or brand new sheets and towels, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, the list of constant dysfunction and psychotic harassment in this unit, if not the building, is off the charts. So in a window that I have had for 13 years without any issues, that was fixed a year ago because it couldn't be open last summer, it wouldn't go up above like 8 inches. It was fixed, is now completely off of its track, and was taken like out of the frame somehow while I was away, to the point where it fell off in my hand pretty much. Then we have an issue. That is not due to some kind of weird coincidence. The police officer is like, oh, it was really windy last week. Yeah, we've had hurricanes in this building since I've lived here. We've had several hurricanes, and that window never came out of its track or off of its frame, ever, not even during hurricanes. And he said, oh, well, it's a little bit rusted out, and so maybe the rust has something to do with it. Well, if rust and dust are the only reason for the fact that this window came off of its track and out of the frame all by itself, after I had tightly and solidly closed it, then every single window in this building, by consequence, right, of rust and dust, should also be suddenly falling out of its frame. If the premise, according to this officer, is that this window came off of its track and out of its frame because it's kind of rusted and dusty, then how come all the other windows that are rusted and dusty aren't also falling out of their frames spontaneously and compulsively for no reason, right? That's not the cause, obviously. Every window in this building is rusted out and dusty. Maintenance doesn't come up here and oil the windows on a regular basis, nor do they ever come up here and oil the windows on a regular basis. That window over there is just as dusty and rusted out as this one, and that window isn't coming off of its frame and landing on the floor, thankfully. So again, it's right around 12:30 p.m. on Thursday, June 26, 2025. I'm waiting for maintenance to show up. I did send 3 emails and 2 text messages to Greenville staff and to the maintenance manager between yesterday afternoon and this morning, letting them know that I'm available for maintenance to show up today. They did respond, and they did